Welcome to Inside South Union Township here on the South Union Township Network. Inside South Union Township brought to you as a joint cooperative venture featuring Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott, Atlantic Broadband, Cable, Armstrong Cable, and our friends at CUTV, including Gary Smith. Today I'm being joined by South Union Chief Code Officer Bob Bankovich and South Union Township Supervisor Bob Schiffbauer. Thank you for taking the time to join us here today.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And we're going to be talking today about some new code ordinances that are going to be going into effect here in South Union Township over the next couple of weeks in regards to the compost facility down on Township Drive.
Yes, we started this program back in I think around '95, where it's kind of an extension of the recycling program that was created through legislation, Act 101. And then from recycling, it was just a natural thing to move on to composting, trying to reduce the waste stream into our landfills. So we thought we'd take a little special step for our residents in Township, and we created this yard waste drop-off facility here on Township Drive across from our municipal building. And pretty much from day one, it became a very popular spot for the residents of South Union Township to dispose of the yard waste, and through agreement with the City of Uniontown, we developed and paid for the composting site in the city. So we share the operation of that site and naturally take our yard waste to the composting site where it's composted, and the materials are distributed to people seeking and wanting mulch and things like that.
It certainly has been a high traffic area. As you said, I actually live up on O'Connell right above Township Drive, and I see the amount of traffic that comes through the facility on a regular basis.
Yeah, like I said, it's become very popular. And a few times we had to close down to, phone would be ringing off the hook. When's the compost site or yard waste site going to be open again? But what we've decided after all these years is try to maybe streamline the operation of the facility, where unfortunately we've had some people refusing the site by dumping materials that should not be there, and some of the pieces of metal we found in the material. But when we take the yard waste down to the city, as part of the process composting and mulching, well, we have a very large grinder there, piece of equipment that we've received funding from the state to operate, and we've had damage done to that equipment. It's very costly to repair it, and because of just a handful, they've used the rights to using the facility. And this is part of the process why we're updating, why we've actually updated our ordinance, and we're going to enforce the rules and regulations. We're going to try to stop the materials should not be disposed at our facility, and also control the amount of flow coming in and outside the township. The site, can be understood, is for the residents of South Union Township and South Union Townships alone.
And of course, South Union Township residents, their tax dollars going to maintain the facility, and you want to make sure there's not going to be a strain on the township residents with any tax increases due to having to maintain the facility if it's being used by out-of-towners.
Yeah, that's a very good point, and I don't have the exact figures on it, but you can imagine with our equipment, manpower, the gasoline, and we're constantly during the spring, late spring, summer, and the early fall, we're constantly emptying that facility out almost on a daily basis.
And Bob Bankovich, you're joining us here as well, and we mentioned some new changes that are actually going to be effective as of November the 1st.
Yes, sir. What we're doing is my officers are they're sitting in the compost, and actually when people come in, they're actually getting ID, find out where they're coming from, what resident, everything like that, make sure they're in South Union Township. If they're not going to be after November 1st, if they're not going to be from South Union Township, they will be cited and prosecuted.
Talk about some of the materials that you've had to obviously distribute to folks to make them aware of this, and also the fact of what steps you're taking to make sure that if you're not there on a regular basis, that folks know that there's going to be some oversight there.
Yes, there's also our code number for our code phone when the officer's not there is actually supplied, so they can actually call if a resident pulls in, has any problems or anything like that. we've had many things in the past that we've had somebody dump building materials in there with nails, stuff like that. This is what we're trying to stop. We're not going to tolerate that happening, okay? Because those are the people, as Supervisor Schiffbauer already said, that abuse that process. So this is why we put this in force. So my officers will be checking it, plus our camera system. We see the license plate, we see the vehicle, description of the person. So yes, we will prosecute.
Let's start from the top. What's allowed in the compost heap?
Well, right now, anything 3 inches, you're talking leaves, branches, Christmas trees, okay, yard waste is what we're looking at, yard waste. Grass, trimmings, stuff like that. Anything larger than 3 inches, as Supervisor Schiffbauer already said, anything over 3 inches that goes down to the grinder can damage the grinder.
For sure.
So that's why we put that in place, 3 inches and under, okay, for the dumping in the compost.
Have you noticed over the years that most of the residents have been able to go by the guidelines that you've set forth?
Mainly the residents that we've run into, yes. Outside people, no. We've had them, basically what we're looking at is people mainly from outside has ruined it. So we have to take these steps to make it right for the residents of South Union Township.
Are any other changes being made aside from the fact that you just want to have more oversight on who's using the facility?
Well, we've upgraded our camera system. We have a very, matter of fact, it was just recently installed a very sophisticated system where we'll easily be able to identify people who come into the site and violate our rules and regulations. And that, in the fact that we're watching it, we are handing out right now information sheets explaining in detail the ordinance itself. We are trying to take a slow transition approach to this. The outdoor season is slowly winding down, unfortunately.
Probably a popular time though, with folks dropping off leaves and other yard items.
And we're not quite as busy as we are, so we felt this is a good time to start to implement our change. And as of November 1st, these new rules and or the updated rules and regulation, they go into effect, and things will wind down even more as we get into the heart of winter. But we'll be ready for springtime, and having a show like this to spread the word. We've actually did some advertising here today in the newspaper, informing the public of what is going on here in South Union Township with our yard waste drop-off facility. So we're very serious about this, and we're going to take approach to make this facility run the way it was intended to.
Are those changes available up on your website as well for the public to see?
Yeah. It's on our website. People can call at any time. I think Bob mentioned we have a phone number. So I think we're doing this the right way.
Again, that phone number is 724-438-5480. That's 724-438-5480. We're talking to South Union Township Supervisor Bob Schiffbauer along with Chief Code Officer Bob Bankovich about the yard waste composting site located on Township Drive. And anything else you'd like to add about the facility?
One thing I would like to add, one thing that this the drop-off center helps us here in the township and should be applied throughout the area, throughout the state. One of the reasons why we created this drop-off site, there, Act 101 with recycling, we're concerned with the environment. One of the things that we thought by creating the drop-off center, I know from day one when I became supervisor, we had a problem where people were taking their yard waste and just dumping it anywhere, along the road, on other people's property, and probably what is even worse was they were burning. And we do have a burning ordinance in the township, but we gave them more teeth by restricting or not allowing the burning of grass and leaves. But now that's one thing, but where does the people dispose of them? So we took the approach of creating a facility where these yard waste materials can be disposed. So it's helped us in a number of ways. But cleaning our environment is very, very important, and I think people overlook it. It's been a long time since we've been operating this facility, and we've seen some, I think, tremendous stride in doing our share here in South Union Township and protecting our environment.
Of course, burning only permitted on Saturdays in the township, correct?
Yes, and just certain items, wood, paper, very, very few things that can actually be burned in a legal manner.
And as you said, it's amazing how popular the drop-off facility has become here over the years.
Yeah, I think one of the popularity can be proven by the people from the other outside of the township trying to use our facility.
And it's nice too, as you said, being able to keep South Union Township a very clean and friendly place, by being able to make sure you have that single facility where folks can go in and drop off all the waste. And certainly, as you said, making sure that it's being used correctly here over the next couple of weeks and into 2021 certainly important as well.
Correct. Just wanted to touch on if anyone receives a citation or anything like that, the fine is a minimum of $100 up to $1,000 and 30 days or both. In
Wow.
prison.
Wow.
So,
You guys certainly aren't taking this lightly at all.
no, we're not.
And you mentioned some of the updated cameras, and we were talking actually off the air before the show.
Mhm.
You actually have the ability to identify via license plates anybody who's using the facility.
Correct. Yes, we'll be able to, description of vehicle, license plates, like I was saying, it's very advanced. The cameras we're putting in right now, that we'll be able to tell who dropped it off or anything like that. And like I was saying, we will prosecute.
What are the hours for the drop-off facility?
It opens up every morning at 7 a.m., okay, until 8 p.m.
And again, going over the items, I think important again to mention what's permitted and what's not permitted inside the facility.
3 inches and under, branches, leaves, grass, yard waste.
And again, to recap, the only major changes to the ordinance, just basically allowing township residents only to use the facility.
Correct.
And again, all these go into effect November the 1st?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add, South Union Township
No,
Supervisor Bob
I
Schiffbauer?
just, it gives us pleasure to offer this, opportunity for our residents to dispose of your yard waste. It's very, like I said, it's very convenient. We get a large number of compliments and people thanking the township supervisors for creating this facility and making it available to our residents. So, and not only is it convenient for them, it also does some very positive things for the township as well.
For sure. We'll take a quick time out here in Inside South Union Township. We have a number of other events going on around South Union Township that we'll touch on here over the next couple of months when Inside South Union Township returns here on the South Union Township Network. Brian Morozek back here at Inside South Union Township, being joined by South Union Township Supervisor Bob Schiffbauer and Chief Code Officer Bob Bankovich. We're talking about the new coding enforcement going on at the yard waste compost heap that's going to be starting November the 1st. We also wanted to discuss a number of events that have occurred and will be occurring here in South Union Township. And one event that was just very successful a couple of weeks ago, and it seems to be a popular event every year, the Treats on the Trail event, which was held on October the 17th, and I understand there are carloads lined up all the way down the road back to Hutchinson Park for that event.
Yeah, this is the third year we had it. The first year, I think we had around 800 participants. I think of just children. Went really nice, and the event includes these vendors, different businesses presenting materials and handouts and candy and things like that, promoting their business. Also, we had food vendors too that first year. Last year, we pretty much, the weather was terrible, and I mean, it was really bad, and it really cut down on the number of participants significantly. This year, even before the nice day on the 17th came along, we'd received over 40,000 hits on our computer.
Wow.
People seeking information on the Treats on the Trail event that was held on the 17th. I know myself, it was to run from 12 o'clock to 4 in the afternoon. And I went down to check, and we had our workers out early, sitting the trail.
It was busy around 10 or 10:30. I was taking the dog for a walk
Yeah.
that morning, and I saw there was already a lot of activity.
Yeah, and when I went to pull off the Fairchance Road on the Reservoir Road, and I had to cross the southbound lane, and the line of traffic just kept coming. I bet you I was there almost 4 minutes
Wow.
before I could turn on the Reservoir Road to go down to the park. So I knew right then and there that we were going to have a crowd, and it's just amazing the people there at that time. And the event just kept on, and as the day went on, we got closer to the starting time. The numbers just started to swell, and it just amazing. We're estimating the crowd from that 12 o'clock until 4 o'clock, somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000
Wow.
people. We were packed from one end of the trail in Hutchinson all the way down to where the finishing point down here behind the rec center. And I know the vendors, they ran out of material and candy, the handouts quickly, very quickly. We even went out to Township and we purchased, I believe it was $1,000 worth of candy, so we could help the different vendors and provide some treats for the kids. That's what the whole concept of this thing was for. So it's probably one of the largest attended events in South Union Township that I can remember. I know we've had the Pitt, West Virginia college baseball game up at Hutchinson, and we've had crowds there around 2,000, maybe 2,500. But what took place on the 17th far outnumbered any other event. And I can only imagine what it's going to be like. We do next year. We have another fine day, and we'll be ready. I do want to commend our township workers for helping with it, especially Maxine and Courtney. They run our office here, and they've done a great job with this from day one, the first year we had it. And I know their hands were full this time, and I'm sure they're gonna have a lot to do getting ready for next year. So.
I think what adds to the popularity, too, it's done in such a safe setting.
Yeah, the trail, and people know the trail has become one of the focal points of this township. It's amazing, and just looking back, we've been operating now for 3 years, the trail, and the popularity just keeps on growing and growing. And one of the nice things, because of what's going on here with the virus, it gives people an opportunity to go out and get out of the house and exercise, get some fresh air, but do it in a very, very safe and nice environment. We get a lot of comments about the trail, how it's done, and also we have, it's been very safe. The agreement that we have with the City of Uniontown, the Police Department, Chief Cox, that's worked out well. It's kind of like a proactive thing with the police. It's not that we created because we had a problem and we brought them in to solve it. We invited them in to participate and contract with us to prevent problems from happening. And that's exactly what we've been able to achieve. And we have a lot of plans for the existing trail here. We want to expand our system. Right now we're working to upgrade the trail from Lick Hollow into Lick Hollow Park. That's about 1.25 miles, 1.5 miles. And we are looking forward to seeing the city of Uniontown extend the sheepskin trail, which would start at our end down at the Cluster Building, where we're going to have our indoor sports facility.
We can talk more about that later on as well.
Yeah, we get that in too, and that's the trail ends right there next to that building. And but it looks like the city is moving on doing their sheepskin trail, and even North Union Township there, I believe they're doing the feasibility study, and hopefully we're going to be able to tie that in what North Union and the city does with the Rotary Walkway that extends from Lebanon Avenue all the way down to Route 51 there at the Fireman Monument. So it would be a great addition to our system, which has proven to be very successful, and we just want to expand upon that.
Any timetable as far as when we might see some of the expansion done?
Well, hopefully, I don't think we have anything right now in place where we can say there's a grant program or grant been approved. I just feel that probably we should see some extending of the trail into the city of Uniontown, probably taking place sometime next year. And most of a great deal of their trail is going to be on the streets, simply because of the topography. It's not like out here in South Union or some the township setting. And but we're looking forward to doing that. And matter of fact, I know there are people right now that utilize our trail, especially the bikers. They'll utilize our trail and they'll just bike into the city of Uniontown and maybe go up through the Rotary Walkway that kind of runs parallel with South Mount Vernon Avenue. So there's a lot of good things coming, and the city, we've talked to the mayor, the council, they are very upbeat, and they're wanting to move forward definitely with the sheepskin trail in the city.
You made some trail improvements as well. I noticed some new picnic facilities going out actually behind the railroad tracks, adjacent to where the soccer facility's at, and it really looks nice out there. You've done some nice work cleaning out a lot of the trees and opening up that area.
Yeah, we're always trying to improve things here in South Union Township, and particularly with our sheepskin trail. The little park that you're talking that we just did, it's in the Little Brownfield area of our trail. And one of the reasons why we picked that location, there's a stream that runs between the trail and the picnic park, actually two streams. One stream comes down through Mandelbrook, and the other comes from Hopwood. And at the one end of the park is actually a confluence where the two streams come together.
Nice.
That we've incorporated that into our picnic park. We're trying to keep it low keyed. We have picnic tables that are there that could be used by the people who use the trail. We're not doing anything where people will drive a vehicle up to it. We certainly don't want to do anything to lose the integrity and the purpose of the trail, and that's for walkers and bikers. We certainly don't want any motor vehicles on the trail.
No, for sure.
But still, a family, we see them, they have, especially a cart hooked up to the back of a bicycle. They could utilize the new picnic park quite easily.
You have a new bridge, I know, that's at least gone up here over the last week or two as well.
Yeah, and I just want to say our township employees built the bridge. But I'm going to go back a little bit further. When we come up with the idea of doing a picnic park, we're always looking for help out and trying to get people in the community involved. And Mark Trenges, he's the manager at the Northwest Hardwood in Hopwood, formerly known as Coastal Lumber. He'd called and he said their company had instituted a policy where they're encouraging their employees to volunteer a day's work for some type of community event or community project. And the light went off right away. I said, yeah, we could put your guys to work down at this picnic park we're thinking about doing, or we just started to work on. And over a 2-day period, they supplied over 24 men. And they did a substantial amount of clearing and grubbing that would have taken our employees who originally started it. It would have taken us weeks to do it. They were done with the hard clearing and grubbing within a couple days. And shortly after that, the Brewhoffers from over the mountains, I've talked to them in the past, and they were interested in doing some projects too. And I called them. They came down within a week. They had 20, I think, 2 of their high school and college children come down. And what was nice that they did the fine tuning as far as the grounds after the people from Northwest Hardwood come down, and they did the hard part with the clearing probably. But the Brewhofer children were able to really tighten it up, and which allowed us to go ahead and plant grass.
Nice.
And but the one nice thing besides the actual natural setting of the park, our township workers they did a fantastic job. I know Scott Schall and Ann Conway, they have some skills that very few people have, and they did a great job, as well as our other workers doing other parts of the project, the clearing and grubbing, the grading, the cutting the trees and hauling them away. We have a great group of workers with the township. We're able to do a lot of things with the people we have on board now that we weren't able to do years ago.
You guys do a great job maintaining the trail. I see on a regular basis, especially now with the leaves falling, you folks out every day making sure the trail's nice and clean.
I'm glad you mentioned it, because if I didn't mention their names, I'd be in trouble. We have two young ladies who does the bulk of the maintenance, the grass cutting, the clearing of the leaves, and just keeping an eye on the trail, and that's Lori and Lynn, and they do.
They're out there every night. See them
Every
out there all
night,
the time.
yeah, they're out there, and they communicate well with the trail users. It's just a great setting what's taking place here in our township. And we knew, and I had no doubt in my mind that the trail would work once we built in South Union Township. But in all honesty, and not bragging, it is so far exceeded any expectation as to the success and the usership of the trail. I talked to the people who received from DCNR. We did receive the $260,000 that allowed us to move forward and build a trail. And their representative out of the Pittsburgh office, I like to tell him at times we're busier than the Gap up at Ohio Pell.
I could imagine that.
And we actually are.
Yeah.
It's just amazing, and I've supplied him with some numbers, and he just can't get over. But that shows that need for trails in this area has always been there. We just scratched the surface of it, and we want to do more. We have some other plans. I'm not ready to announce them yet, but we have a number of plans for the future as far as developing that system, as well as working with the city and in North Union Township, and even Georges Township, where we're possibly even looking into going all the way down to Fairchance maybe someday, and that'd be great.
And Bob Anchorage, I know your crew has done a nice job making sure the trail stays safe on a regular basis.
Yes, yeah, they do. They patrol the trail. It's part of their rounds, to patrol the trail and everything. And what it is, we want people to feel safe. Is in these trying times, that we're in right now, people need to feel safe. That they can walk the trail and everything. I just want to touch on what Supervisor Schiffbauer was talking about, how nice the trail is. I actually had a couple from North Dakota that they were avid trail walkers and everything like that. They actually talked to me and stopped me and asked me. I was actually in the city of Uniontown. They said, any trails you have around? I told them about the Sheepskin Trail. And a couple days later, I saw them again, and they said that was the most beautiful walk they've ever had on this trail. And they said, and they've walked trails all over the United States. And they gave compliments to the township of how beautiful this trail is.
Yeah, you haven't had an opportunity to go down, certainly go down and check out the Sheepskin Trail. And of course, another area which you added about a year or so ago too was the dog park down the other side towards the Uniontown side, and that's very popular. I use it on a regular basis.
Yeah, the dog park has become a very popular. Like, I've seen you down there, I don't know how many times, driving by on my bicycle, and it's just another component or something we did, with the trail, just beyond the trail itself, that just adds to such a nice facility in the township. And another story I'd like to mention, the factor as allowing and helping people with their health, staying healthy, wellness, and when we start to develop our indoor facility, we certainly are going to add a program of wellness that we're going to carry this on from children all the way up to seniors. But one story I want to add, we wrote, I think it's towards the end of the first year of the trail, I received a phone call from a gentleman who resides in the township, and he says, I want to thank you supervisors for doing the trail. And he said, I have to tell you a story. He said, about a year ago, I could hardly go from downstairs upstairs to go to bed and sleep. He said, it was such a challenge for me because of my weak heart, my poor health. He said, my wife and I decided that they were going to start to walk the trail. He said, we just start out with a very short distance because of his health limitations. And he said, he's up to the point now where I can tell you that you supervisors have saved my life.
Wow. That's a great story. Probably makes you feel really good too.
Oh, that does. That's the, to me, the extrinsic values mean nothing, but the intrinsic value and reward of hearing a story like that makes it all worthwhile.
And I think it certainly does keep township residents on a whole healthier, being able to go out there and have a facility in an area where you can go and walk on a regular basis, feel safe, and have the room. Because I know there's a lot of areas around the township where you don't have sidewalks, and it's tough because you don't have areas to really move and be able to navigate well. But that stretch of the trail, you can go down there anytime and really have a nice walk.
Yeah.
And we mentioned earlier the new facility down at the Cluss Lumber Yard, which you guys are working on as a new rec center down there with youth soccer. Of course, youth soccer going to be starting here in South Union Township in late November, starting a little bit earlier than normal. I understand you're going to have a Thanksgiving weekend tournament going on. It's going to extend all the way through March, but you're working on a new facility down by the Cluss building.
Yeah, we actually haven't started on it yet. The first round for grant money we applied for, we weren't successful. But here a few weeks ago, we did get word on our second attempt through DCNR, the same state organization that funded the trail. They awarded South Union Township $200,000, and that's going to kickstart our project. We plan to utilize some of the skills our workers have to help offset that match. There again, like we did with the trail, we used our personnel and equipment as an in-kind match. So that meant there we saved the township probably close to $100,000. So we got credit for as an in-kind match instead of actually coming up with tax dollars to match at $260. And we're going to apply that same same thing down here at the sports complex, using our personnel to do as much possible work as we can. Certainly some of the things are going to have to be bid out. There's no doubt about that. But this $200,000 is going to kickstart the project, and we're kind of shooting maybe the fall of next year. The facility will be ready for some type of use, and we're going to be applying for more money. I think the state DCNR, they tend to help fund projects like this on a continual basis as the facility develops, and we're doing it in phases. And hopefully another 3 or 4 years, we're going to have a wonderful facility.
What do you envision the current rec center looking like once you have the new facility built, and how are you going to intertwine the two together to basically keep them both feasible and be able to maintain both facilities?
Certainly. We have the need for two facilities like this, and but basically the facility here, the existing facility, will just go back to using it like we all did, primarily for basketball.
Okay.
But we could still use it for soccer, and soccer certainly has grown in the area. And not to say that the new facility will be able to handle all of our soccer needs, but what we do now, we put down the artificial turf. That pretty much eliminates any use of this facility
For basketball.
So hopefully, once we get the new facility going up and working, the artificial surface certainly will be there on a permanent basis, and we may very well not have to come in and use the existing facility for soccer and putting down the turf and eliminating basketball.
Is there going to be room in the new facility, you think, maybe to add some like gym components or areas for folks to walk indoors?
Well, as I said, we're doing this in phases.
Okay.
we're looking at doing things. I don't know if we can do like they have at the YMCA. I think the cost of retrofitting that building for a walking track like they have at the YMCA just would be probably too much in the way of the dollars. But there'd be a number of things. We're hoping to have a nice snack bar where people can come and enjoy their own. Actually, when they bring their kids for practice or a game, the parents like to stay around, and we have somewhat of a mini snack bar right now, but we like to expand it where people can really enjoy themselves, even have a meal, and that just adds to the complex and what it has offered to the residents.
And maybe an opportunity for residents maybe be able to purchase memberships and be able to use the facility on a regular basis for other things as well.
Well, those are things that we're going to be thinking about, and we have nothing concrete down yet. Still a little ahead of the game, but now that we've got the okay with the grant, we know we're moving forward.
Yeah, certainly nice to see that growth forthcoming here in South Union Township. A couple of other events we want to hit on as well. You guys are going to be busy during the holidays as well. Horse-drawn carriage rides in South Union Township, November 29th, December 5th, December 12th, December 19th, and December 20th from 1 to 5 p.m. I think this is the first year you guys have done that.
Oh, yeah. We have a very active staff, especially, I mentioned Maxine, Courtney, and we have a new member on our staff, Taylor. I'm sure she has input too, and maybe Bob could allude to that as well. But it's good to have people that are trying to keep the township headed into a very positive direction. And when you have a staff like that can certainly add to that concept and that goal, it really makes it nice, and we can achieve a lot of good things.
You gonna be driving the wagons around?
No.
No.
No, we're going to mandate you have to have a CDO license.
Okay.
Nice.
Just want to touch on that also. Just the carriage rides, I do know they're filling up fast.
Okay.
Yeah, because you have to call for a reservation.
Correct.
Make a reservation because they are filling up fast.
And especially first year, unique events.
Right.
Never done it before here in South Union
filling
Township.
up
It's going to be
real
very
quick.
popular.
Yes.
Again, the dates for that, go ahead.
No, go right ahead.
Dates for that, November 29th, December 5th, December 12th, the 19th, and the 20th from 1 to 5 p.m. Any idea where the carriage is going to be taking folks around to? Sorry to put you on the spot.
From what I'm understanding, it's going to be on the trail.
On the trail,
Yeah,
nice.
it's going on the trail, back and
That's
forth
nice.
on the trail, yes.
That should be really fun. And also another event this year, Christmas in the Park on November the 29th from 1 to 7 p.m. It's going to be down at Hutchinson, $5 a carload. I understand there's going to be a variety of activities, vendors, and probably a very similar event to the Treats on the Trails program. That should be a lot of fun as well for families. That's going to be Thanksgiving weekend. So you're going to have a lot of folks and families together in town, and probably another very popular event.
Well, I'm sure with the word spreading about our treats on the trail, there's no doubt in my mind that providing the weather cooperates, we're going to have a lot of participants.
So again, some of the events going on around South Union Township, South Union Youth Soccer, starting Thanksgiving weekend, Christmas in the Park, November 29th from 1 to 7 p.m., and the horse-drawn carriage rides, November 29th, December 5th, December 12th, December 19th, and December 20th. We already talked about the very successful Treats on the Trail program, which was held on October the 17th, and we started off the show talking about some of the new ordinances going into effect for the yard waste compost facility November the 1st. So, guys, certainly busy, a lot going on around South Union Township.
Yeah, before we wrap up, I do want to mention and bring to our attention that my fellow supervisors, Mr. Scott and Mr. Vernon, we're all pulling in the same direction, and it allows us, when you're working together as a team, it allows us to be able to accomplish things that really pays off for the benefit of the township.
And of course, you have the supervisor meetings the first Wednesday of every month, correct?
That's our regular township meeting.
Yeah, township meeting, correct.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, and the folks want to attend down here. You're opening up the meetings again to the public.
Oh, we've
correct?
been up,
Yeah.
we've been up, and we take a little different approach to things here in
Yes.
South Union Township. The governor does, and I don't think we're putting our people at jeopardy. There's no indication or possibility that what we're doing is causing any detriment to the health of the community. But we're going to continue that direction and trying to allow our residents to enjoy this township.
Well, great information. Again, folks, thank you for taking the time to join us here on Inside South Union Township. Inside South Union Township has in Bronx is a joint cooperative venture featuring Township supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott, Atlantic Broadband Cable, Armstrong Cable, and our friends at CUTV, including Gary Smith. For Township Supervisor Bob Schiffbauer and Chief Code Officer Bob Bankovich, this is Brian Morozak. Have a great day.